Hi! This week I'm talking to an old colleague of mine and a dear friend and an esteemed DJ, Bailey. He represents Metalheads when he DJs. He's also set up his own club night called Soul in Motion, which is one of the finest drum and bass nights in London. And he's a genuine dear friend. So back when I was on Radio 1 alongside Decode, Bailey was on Radio 1 Extra. So we were like BBC colleagues and we got up to a lot of fun nonsense. But whereas me and Dee used to represent sort of cross-genre stuff with the backbone being drum and bass, Bailey was like a true drum and bass soldier. And here he is. Hi, Shruti. How are you? Lovely to see you. Bailey's going to join us. Is he going to connect? Is it going to happen? Yeah. Easy. How's it going?
Hey.
Hey, Bailey. Hello, Deeps. How's it going? Good to see you in the comments. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm great, man. You all right? What are you drinking,
good.
first of all?
Right, so this week I've run out of bourbon and I haven't been able to restock. Hi, Viraj. How's it going, Viraj from Bombay? Big up. Yeah, I ran out of bourbon, so I'm drinking Hay Club whiskey. It's all right, but it's a bit...
I could swear you said you were going to drink tequila.
I've run out of tequila too.
What's going on there, man?
Basically, it's fucked up. I need to restock all of my booze because it's been like the last 2 weeks of summer have been quite sunny and lovely and have required a lot of alcohol consumption in my household. So, yeah, it's a desperate need of a restock.
Well, I'm on the vodka.
Okay.
Oh, I don't like that light at all. I'll move that back over here. There you go.
You look very fresh and clean, though.
Yeah, it's nice to have an excuse to shave, actually, because I haven't left the house in a week.
Dude, I was just saying to a friend, like, every Wednesday I get to have a few drinks with a dear buddy and wash and preen and, you know, make myself presentable. And I like the fact that you're wearing a Soul in Motion t-shirt and I'm wearing a Shiver Sound System t-shirt. Look at this representing
It's like
our
a
things.
T-shirt clash.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So look, thanks for doing this. I was just babbling away before about how we knew each other as BBC colleagues, but I can't remember. Did we meet at the BBC, like proper?
My memory is definitely going to be worse than yours, you know. I ain't going to remember that.
Yeah,
but I do remember you being at the BBC for sure. But like, I don't think we really started getting to know each other better until it was that we both left there and we started seeing each other in other places, like round Shoreditch or whatever.
But I'm sure I used to see you out and about before that.
Yeah,
Metalheads and stuff. I'm pretty certain.
Oh, probably Metalheads.
Because we knew we've got Roger as a mutual friend and also.
I was about to say.
So Simon and Roger and all that lot.
Yeah, Linford.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm sure there's some overlap. But yeah, I guess you're right. The BBC is when we became friends, and after that we just started hanging out, which is quite nice. Which
is quite dangerous.
So this is the fuck up. Actually, I remember this vividly. So me and Decode were standing in for Mary Ann Hobbs on Radio 1, and we were doing it live from Radio 1 at 2 till 4, and we ran into you at High Contrast Lincoln's album launch in Shoreditch, and you bought shot after shot after shot after shot after shot, and got me fucking wasted. I was lathered by the end of that, and Dee had to grab me by the scruff of my neck, drag me, throw me into a cab, and get to Radio 1. And I couldn't see. I was just like,
I don't know. I got the impression that you were some sort of party animal, so I thought, let's party.
Yeah, you got the. I mean, to be fair, that reputation is quite well earned. So you know.
Yeah, then you got the horse and groom. That was part 2.
Of course. And Three Blind Mice, Roger's place.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, that was like you got in there. That was like a cavernous place. You could really get lost in that. Just really get stuck in there forever drinking.
That's what I was going to say. You couldn't really get lost in it because it was fucking tiny, but you could get stuck.
No, but it was so cozy. You just didn't want to leave. That's what I meant.
That's true. You couldn't really get lost around. I mean, there's 2 little rooms, but yeah, I get what you mean. Is that you're into that?
I don't know. I don't know who that was.
No, there we go. So listen, dude, one thing, right? And also, there was another thing that popped into my head is that we were both in the same issue of Mix Mag in 1999 randomly.
I didn't realise that. I probably got that somewhere.
I'm gonna send you a picture of it. It's the one with the drugs issue. Do you remember that one with the big sort of the word drugs written in different colours all over the front of it?
Vaguely, yeah, vaguely.
And you had gold teeth then?
Yeah, I had one like hair.
Okay,
but it was only like a cap, and that broke up. It was so old. I got it from Guyana. It's where my mum's from, Guyana. So I got it when I was on holiday.
I see. I had one purple eye and one grey eye. It was those days.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, yeah. It was in 1999, so things were, I was much more adventurous and younger. This is old skin now. You know, in your youth, you can, you know, grin
Yeah,
and
and
smile.
I like the triangle thing you got going.
I've had this for years. This is all trial and error. Basically, I've got massive ears, right? So all this shit is to draw attention away from my massive ears. That's all it is. It's just a distraction. But listen, that's the other thing, right? So having known you, we've hung out, we've gotten drunk. I don't know how you started your career. Like, I know that you DJ with Metalheads, but how did it all start?
It was an accident.
Okay.
I was just in my bedroom playing music to myself to the point where I'd invite friends would come over and I'd be like, hey, do you want to listen to this tune I just got? And I play the tune. Next thing you know, it's 4 hours later.
Right.
And I haven't spoken to them. You know what I mean? I'm just in the mix the whole time.
But how did you get these tunes then? Did you buy them or did you like...
Yeah, I was going down to Croydon, Waxy, buying from John. You know what I mean? That was my local spot. Right. I went to Unity every now and then. Obviously Black Market and stuff. Big shout to Clarky. But yeah, I was just buying records. I just wanted to hear more and more. I'm like that now. More.
Yeah.
And then through doing that, people just realised that, we got a party on. Well, we know Bailey's got the tunes. Bailey, can you come play some of your tunes? Yeah, come and play.
Right.
I was doing mixes at home on cassette tape. Does anyone remember cassette tape? Cassette tape, and friends were copying the tapes. They were going all around the neighbourhood. Kind of started like that, really.
See? And then how did you get on Metalheads then? Because that was a pretty big association, especially in the 90s. That was just like, every time I'd see it was like, Bailey's, Metalheads.
Okay. Well, you see, because I was so into my mixing, like my sister went to college with a guy called Garfield, right? Now, Garfield lived down the road in Fulton Heath, and I used to go to his house Saturday mornings, about 10 o'clock, wake him out of bed, go on his techniques. He'd go back to bed. I'm playing house music. And Garfield sort of took me out around the place, setting up sound systems, doing, he had a sound system and stuff. He was playing in Croydon at a little wine bar called Rue St. George. I used to help him set up and listen to music and blah, blah, blah. Then it turned out he knew Flux. Okay. So I got to meet Flux. Flux introduced me to Groove Rider, started going on the road to Groove Rider. And Flux at a Voodoo Magic in about 95, 96, 94, 95 actually, introduced me to Chemistry and Storm. Right. And then, Flux gave him the whole spiel about he's on pirate radio, have a listen, etc., etc. And then I didn't really think no more about it. I didn't think they'd ever lock in. But next time I went to View the Magic, they said they'd listen to the show. And they thought it was quite good. They said, hey, there's this new night starting up. Would you like to be playing? I was just like, I didn't know what it was. I just was like, yeah, I'll have a go at that. And then it turned out to be Metalheads. Easy Deeps, I see you, mate. All right. Yeah, it turned out to be Metalheads. And that just launched everything.
So you were there from the start. The whole Blue Note thing, the very, very beginning of it.
If I'm really honest about it, I think the first 2 or 3 or 4, they had DJ Ron in there and stuff. Right. And I wasn't even playing at them times. It was a little bit after that, maybe about a month in, that I started playing. Right.
So before it exploded, when it was still a little bit quiet? Or like...
Yeah.
Nice. That's a fucking upward swing to catch, bro. That's pretty sick.
Pretty lucky, big respect to Chemistry and Storm. They definitely gave me a break there, took me under their wing. And I've always been under the wing ever since. They always looked after me.
Yeah. And that's nuts. And then one extra happened, obviously, straight after that.
Yeah, another situation where the guy who was my sister's friend, Garfield, knew a guy called Darren. And Darren had a girlfriend at the time who was getting involved in this thing called Network X. And I went and it was like, they were looking for DJs and he put the word into her and she put the word in. Then I went down, I was asked to do pilots, like trial runs. Yeah. So I went down to Radio 1 and in the basement, because they had 4 studios down there, didn't they? In the Yalding house in the old days. Yeah. They basically, Wilbur put me in there, put a DAT machine in and said, do a show. And I was like, what? So I played tunes and I made up fake charts, blah, blah, blah. Right. I was doing it for about 3 months, actually.
What, piloting?
And then it was I was just piloting for about 3 months.
What?
Just going in there once a week, doing a show, you know what I mean? And then it was like, we've got a slot for you on this radio show. I was like, yeah, cool. I didn't know what that was going to be. Turned out to be 1 extra. Yeah.
That's sick. That's fucking cool. I didn't realize that they piloted you for that long. That's insane. I think I only ever did like 2 pilots for any show.
Yeah, I did about 5 or 6, something like that. Yeah. Wow. I was constantly. I wonder where those DAT tapes are now. That's called Wilbur.
Dude, Reggie's got the first ever pilot I cut for radio on minidisc, and it's so fucking bad. It's like the worst fucking pilot you've ever heard. It's so bad. Oh man.
Well, what was wrong with it? See, the thing with me was I was like, I never really had a, no, most DJs on pirate radio days, they had an MC with them. I didn't have an MC, so I would just talk myself, and I got used to talking. So the pilot, I don't think would have been too hard for me. But yeah, what was wrong with your pilot?
I think it was developing my radio confidence and just hearing my voice back for the first time. I was like, I sound so shit, and then you get used to it, and then you figure out how to do it, you know. But it was,
Had to just be yourself, really. Yeah.
or pretend to be yourself.
Well, yeah, as much as you can, but try not to imagine there's like, thousands of people listening. It's a tough one.
I have the other one. I have a different way where if I feel no one's listening, then I panic. So if it's completely empty, that's when I freak out. Weirdly.
No, I'm like, it's the BBC, innit? People are going to be listening.
That's true.
It's because it's standardly at least a few thousand.
Yeah. Actually, I remember my first ever live show on Radio 1. I was standing in for Raz Kwame, and I shat bricks like throughout the whole. I fucked up every link. I was just like dead airing it, and I was just saying the wrong stuff. And it's probably because I didn't know the music, because I can just hide behind musical knowledge. Do you know what I mean? Then talk about.
To be fair, that's big boots to fill, though. Raz Kwame, he's such a specialist.
Yeah, and like a dickhead, I was at the Brixton Academy right up to 4 a.m. watching The Prodigy. So I was it wasn't the right thing to do. But I think it was a good trial by fire for sort of going straight from a gig to radio.
You learn a lot. The only way to learn those lessons is to make those sort of mistakes, isn't it?
But I never learned. I never learned.
That you did that. Like, for example, now I've stopped drinking before I go on radio now. Because, you know, there's days when it can go really wrong. Sometimes, you know, with alcohol, it kicks in and you're sharp, super sharp.
Yeah.
It's when you go over that, it's a problem. I tend to go over.
It's that sort of that slurry divide. You don't want to get on the wrong side of it.
Well, no, it's just sort of like you just get clumsy.
Yeah.
There's a stage you get to, and then you're with alcohol, and you're like real sharp. Everything's clicking into place. So you're just like, it's magic. And then if you go past that mark, everything is just oh, come here, you blasted cat.
Oh.
She needs so much attention, but there you go.
But what was the most the worst show you did in terms of alcohol on the BBC? Because we can talk about it now, because neither of us are on it. So,
well, you know what? I guess I can expose it now, but I'd have like Christmas specials. And
your last show was fucking a rave.
Yes, well, that's what it was like at Christmas.
Okay.
I'd buy. Like, to be honest, you know, on the last show, I went to Costco and I spent £400 on alcohol. I snuck it in a suitcase into Yoding House, and it was a free bar for everybody.
I was there.
Yeah, somebody ended up urinating on a dustbin outside and got nicked by the police. It's all kinds of debauchery going on. You know what I mean? Like, we had to hide people in the basements because it was too ram upstairs, and that was a mad one.
That was an amazing session.
Yeah, that was sick.
And the studio being that packed with everyone from drum and bass was something else. That was just fucking brilliant.
You know what? That was super special, because that's a very rare thing for everybody to come out. Now, you have people like DJ Hazard, and Hazard came from Birmingham. You know, you had Andy C, Chasing Status.
Yeah,
these people don't come out for just whatever's. You know, Dillinger came out. It's hard. Yeah. A lot of people came out who don't usually come out much.
Well, your show was important, bruv, as well. That's the thing.
Well, I didn't realise until that very moment, and I've been there 10 years, and it wasn't until that last show I was like, all these people really appreciate what I've been doing. So that was a nice way to top it off. Perfect.
Who was I chilling with? I was chilling with Nico and Darren Debridge, and we were just talking. It was actually, that's right. I remember now. Nico swore on air. I remember now.
Oh, did he? I didn't catch that.
I remember, because I elbowed him in the ribs, because he was just like, he said, right, last tune of the last show, what should I play? And he went, fuck. I went, bang,
yeah, well, it's the last show, so whatever. I mean, it's not like I was getting fired anyway. Didn't matter.
Exactly.
Didn't matter.
Exactly. Well, we all had our time at the Beeb, and then they got rid of all the darkies. Especially for drum.
That literally happened. Like, can you imagine with the recent events? This has now been pointed out. It's like you didn't want to say anything at the time because you didn't want to be seen as some sort of moany type of.
Yeah.
Yes, a troublemaker.
Yeah, but it did get drum and bass got incredibly less coloured in radio across the BBC.
That big time. And with the year I left, there was about at least four or five black presenters who got the axe.
Yeah.
And I was
So
like,
like Fab and Groove left, Flight left, you left, me and D left.
Ronnie Harrell left, Robbo Ranks left.
Oh, I was just talking about drum and bass, bro. I was just
Oh right,
literally,
yeah. I
I
mean,
was just talking about drum and bass, let alone the rest of the station.
yeah, it was. There was a lot of cuts, man.
Yeah.
And people saw it as that's a bit of a coincidence and a bit of a weird one, but you know, what can you say?
Yeah. I'm glad you're still doing the radio thing. Your shows are still fucking great, bro.
Oh, thank you, man. You know what? This is the funny thing. People are like, "Oh, I loved it when you was on radio," because they only remember one extra and they didn't really follow me onto my soul. But I'm still doing radio, still doing it.
I think that's the one thing. When you go from something like the Beeb, it's got those 3 letters that are kind of a magic portal to sort of credibility, right? So it must have made an impact. I mean, actually, you already had Metalheads too, so you kind of had your big thing there with
To a point. I'll tell you what the weirdest thing, right? It was actually a reverse situation because what happened was because I was at BBC, people assumed that he's all right. You know what I mean? Bookings weren't as great. You know what I mean? Because when I came, mostly I would get people going asking me for a booking because they wanted me to bring, you know, a live broadcast on the BBC as well, and not knowing that it cost at least 10 grand for the satellite truck and all. It just wasn't going to happen like that. It had to be a special occasion. But as soon as I came off BBC, bookings shot up. Yeah, I think the assumption was like, oh, he's all right. He's over there. He's getting paid. Blah blah blah. Don't bother him. Deal with someone else. You know, I really felt like that. It really did.
That's an interesting one. We never really. I think that's probably because, you know, I think that I've always been on the fringe of every single scene. I'm never really that. It was never pure D&B. Do you know what I mean? It was always like getting weird people on our show, like the Arctic Monkeys or whatever. It was like I really enjoyed fucking with things. You know what I mean? And blurring barriers.
Yeah.
So I think that we had to sort of create our own clubs and get our own bookings that way. Like, and always had to, even with the Radio 1 thing, actually, it was really, we still had to do our own thing because we were so on the fringe of everything. And especially the Asian thing as well, because we weren't really part of anything, you know what I mean?
Well, I always assumed it was like just a lot of drum and bass. I really didn't know you did other things.
Oh yeah, it was like, we called it the flip side of drum and bass. So we had like, we got like Prodigy exclusives and shit like that. Because I really wanted to sort of break down the barriers between genres and kind of get off on that. And really fuck with people. And that's the thing, like, you know, your own, I mean, you know that as well, like, you're one of the only regular drum and bass club nights left. Well, actually, there's no club nights left right now, but you're one of the few sort of remaining weekly or bi-weekly club nights, which is quite mad.
The funny thing about that was, you know, when we started the club, it was during a phase where it was only things at the weekend. Only the weekend, and it was only record labels or that brand, this brand, that brand, and that's why we did it, because there was no sort of mixture of anything else going on. So that was the reason to do it. You know what I mean? It was actually it was Neef Amira's idea. Actually, he said, "Why don't you do this?" Yeah, big up Moses. It was his idea,
right?
And then he said, "Oh, you know what? Let me come in this as well." And we, you know, now it's like 6 years down the line. You know, would you believe it? But like, you know, we had Swerve back in the day in midweek. We had Blue Note at the weekend. We had Bar Rumba movement, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
We had that on a Thursday, but they stopped all of a sudden. So we just said, you know what, we've got to do something about that. Rather than moan about it, just lead by example.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, as soon as we started, all the weeklies came back, you know what I mean? Because people were like, oh, it can be done. So, you know, it was like, you know, we just definitely turned things around.
You had a different model though as well, because it started off with the Edition Hotel, right? Was the first Soul in Motion.
Yeah.
And then it moved to the Ace. And then it moved, did you move to the Curtain as well?
We had the Curtain as well, yeah.
Before Shy took the Curtain over. So that was before Shy got in there too.
I think Shy might have been there. He might have been there first. I'm not sure. He might have been there first. I think he was there first.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You see, the business model, like, not business model, but the way it was set up.
Yeah.
Business model. It's a matter of circumstance.
Oh, yeah.
The basement.
So it was Edition Hotel, Deep to say the one on Oxford Street. That was Edition Hotel, right?
Yeah, and underneath it, they had a club. Amazing. Like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
A system flown in from America and shit. It was called The Basement, right? So, yeah, it was a members only place. It was it was literally for members who were staying at the hotel or members of that particular, you know, that venue. So we couldn't charge to get in. That's why we had to do it free. Reggie, what are you saying, Reggie?
Reggie's there, wicked.
Reggie's there? Yeah, I've seen her for a long time.
The next foundation person, Reggie's like.
She's the next one I want to go and do some tequilas with, you know what I mean?
Actually, what are you doing on Saturday?
Not much, actually.
Because they've just announced it. Me, Reggie, and you know Anita Rani?
Yes.
Right, I'm making a DJ on Saturday night at Village Underground.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's the event? What is it?
It's I've called it Nerm's dirty little but totally clean and socially distant party.
You know what? I'm gonna come down.
Come,
you know
bro.
what? Yeah, I did. I had no idea. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I'm coming.
We've literally we made it happen the last 2 days, and we've just announced it like at 5 o'clock today.
Okay, yeah, I'm down.
So you've got to come. So yeah, so Village Underground. It's like it's reduced. Near the capacity. Village Underground's a massive club. It's like 700 people when it's jammers, and they've reduced it down to 100 people with tables only.
Oh, that's a good idea with the tables because people have to stay around. They know where they're supposed to be.
Exactly. So it's tables of maximum of 6 people on each table. And then I'm DJing, Reggie's DJing. We're going to do like hour slots each. And Reggie's a sick DJ. And then Anita, secretly at her yard, she plays garage and drum and bass on vinyl almost every fucking week.
Drum and bass. You brought it to Soul in Motion one time as well.
Did I? Oh, yeah. I brought a lot of people.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. I just thought to myself, oh, yeah, this is pretty cool. But I didn't know she was into drum and bass.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah,
oh,
she knows her things, man.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's got a set ready to go as well. It's going to be fucking great to come on Saturday. Come and have tequila.
Right, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be train spotting.
Yeah, man. And basically, me and Reggie have just like sort of fighting over who can play WAP.
You know what? I'm not going to lie. I keep hearing about the WAP track. I probably have heard it, but what's the big deal with it? I heard it's quite dirty, right?
It's all about vaginas. That's it.
Wow.
But it's a fucking brilliant tune. Like, I'm not a big fan of Cardi B, but I'm like, that's actually a sick tune. It's wicked.
Is it? All right, I'll have to check that out properly.
It's about 134 BPM. So there's lots of stuff you can fuck with. It's quite fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Sunday. Yeah, Deeps, Reggie's DJing. Come.
All right, yeah, I'm coming. Yeah, definitely. +2, please.
Yeah, sure thing. Deeps, I'm going to put you, actually, I'll hook you up. Both of you, both Deeps and Bailey. I'll write that down now.
We have to put down another name for me because now everybody knows I'm on the guest list. We have to use another name.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually,
you know what I mean?
It's true, but it's all free as well. You've got to email and reserve tables.
Oh, cool. Yeah. How many people at each table?
It's maximum 6.
Okay, yeah. All right, that can work.
Yeah, man, it's going to be great.
I'll make some phone calls and get the crew together.
Sick. We'll get a bottle of tequila going. Woohoo! But yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. So you did the basement edition, and there was the booker at Edition Hotel that was sick, right? There was who was in charge of bookings there, if I remember correctly.
Seb Chu.
That's right, Seb.
Seb and Dom. Now you know Seb Chu's. I don't know if he is now, but he was. I think he might be still. But he was Lily Allen's manager, right?
I thought it was a radio plugger as well.
Not as far as I know.
Huh.
But it was Lily Allen's manager and Dom Prosser. That's right, Dom Prosser. Yeah, those two. They were in charge of it, and through Moses, knowing them through what's it called? What's the place in Notting Hill? The underground place.
Notting Hill Arts Club.
Yes, they used to look after that.
They used to do the club nights there, right?
Yes.
Reggie, what was that club night called? If she can hear that. No, she's not answering. Oh, well, yeah, that club night I'm on about. Yeah, I know the one you're on about.
It was that, yeah. So Moses knew them and they managed.
Yo, that's right. Big up Kareem.
Yo. Yes, Yo. Yeah, nice one, Kareem.
Yeah.
How you doing, Kareem? Ain't seen you for a minute. Yeah, so he used to go to Yo every now and then. He knew them through that and they wanted to do the Edition. So that's how it linked up, you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's some good taste. And then you left Edition and then went to the Ace.
Yes.
Which was in my neighborhood. So I was there every fucking week. It was wonderful.
5-star hotel. Hey, remember the one-offs on the 7th floor?
That was fucking
sick.
God. Dude, there was, you know what? I remember on the rooftop ones of Yo-Yo, the queue would go right the way down down Shoreditch High Street. Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I remember walking past, because I literally used to live around the corner. And I walked past and I saw Tendai in the queue, Jide, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, what are you doing here, bro? Because there's no way I can get in. Like, no one could get in. But
yeah, that was tough. But go on.
But because I knew the hotel and I knew the car park underneath, because my old building was connected to it, I knew the little staircase inways and shit. So I went into the basement, into the car park, into the hotel that way, round the stairs, and ended up at the door at the top.
I remember that.
That's how I blagged it in. I had to fucking
I remember.
hustle my way in hard.
Because, you know, even though it could technically hold more people, the official capacity was 200. You know what I mean? And the queue was down the road, and yeah, it was a problem. It was really difficult. I actually had to get another phone number so that I could communicate with Moses, and switch off the other one, because I didn't want to be weird. It's really awkward when someone turns up and you're like, "Hey, get me," and I'm just like, and I really want to, but I can't.
Yeah.
Just can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, those bare people that you'd recognise in that queue, it's got to be tough. Do you know what I mean?
But on the summer's day, when you got to see the corner box with it's like a greenhouse, but you know, forget greenhouse. It's really tall glass windows on the corner of the hotel, looking all around London. You got the long balcony as well. Oh, that was amazing.
It was sick. Amazing. That was very special. Actually, that was the first time I heard you drop that Roy Ayers tune, the remix.
Oh yeah.
Who did that?
That was kicking off. A guy called Kotu, Kotu.
Yeah, because I know that Hospital released one by Netsky recently.
Yeah, that's not there now.
It's not that one, is it?
It's not. That's not the original version, and it doesn't sound. It hasn't got the same groove. It's a bit flatter as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. That was. I remember that vividly. Hearing that Roy Ayers tune as the.
I rinsed that tune out. Big tune.
It's fucking amazing.
I had Easy Rollers who run Jungle Cakes up. They called me up and was like, "Hey, who's this guy? We want to release a tune." I emailed the guy back. The guy's really, you can't get hold of the guy. It was really a strange thing. I had this tune blowing the place up, and you couldn't even tell him about it. Yeah.
How come?
Yeah.
You just...
Because you just couldn't get hold of him. You know, I emailed him back on the same email he sent me the tune on. No reply. I was like, "Hey, these people want to put your tune out." No reply. I think it was Randall who played that first, actually.
Huh.
I was like, "Randall, what's that?" He said, "It's this guy."
A big tune.
Yeah, massive.
Can I hassle you for it so I can play it on Saturday? Is that all right?
Totally. Yeah, totally.
Wicked.
What did you ask earlier?
Because I was a bit like, you know, people get protective over their dub plates, man. Because you've got bare fucking tunes. Big up Durga from Bombay, easy love. You've got bare tunes, man. And like, you know, it feels a bit odd asking for tunes. I thought I'd ask you publicly so you can't say no. But to be
I would have said yes anyway.
Oh, you could have told me to fuck off. It's totally fine. But actually, on that, what's your most favorite? What's the most legendary dub you've got that no one else has got?
I've got loads.
But which one?
I'm a collector. People know I'm really into the dubplate culture, so I've got things like Angels Fell, unreleased version of that.
Right.
I've got
by Dillinger.
By Dillinger, yeah, the original version before the next one came out.
Before the next one came out, you mean the one the only one that came out? The
only one that came out. There's like oh man, I'd have to have my laptop to let you know, but there's loads and loads and loads of stuff. Like This Is LA on Metalheads. There's an original version of that by Lemon D that Groove Ride used to play at Voodoo Magic. Got that, you know what I mean? A lot of the stuff. I've got a big shout to. I sent a big shout to Deep Jungle because they are, you know, collecting a lot of these dub plates and putting them out. And you get Sovereign Melody, VIP. I can't say who the sources are, but people are sending me stuff that unreleased Dillinger, unreleased Photech, all kinds of stuff. I mean, there is no one dub plate. There's always just a dub plate for a situation. So if someone gets cheeky, I just slap them with this dub plate. You know what I mean? Don't get cheeky.
I mean, still, but an unreleased version of Angels Fell is pretty fucking legendary.
It's massive, and it's straight off the dat as well. I mean, incredible. You know what I mean? I've got loads. I mean, I've got loads and loads and loads of optical unreleased stuff. Loads. Unreleased, what's it called? What's the tune? Unreleased Ghost. What's it called? Unofficial Ghost by Doc Scott. There's an Amen version of that. There's an unreleased dubplate version of that. I've got another version of Space Funk. I've got another version of Pulp Fiction.
Wow, really?
I've got
Huh.
Loads. There's loads.
What's different in that then?
The bass line's different.
I don't know whether I agree with that.
I know it's a bit weird, but it's the same breaks and everything. The horn's not in there, but the break's different. You know what I mean?
Shit. Okay, and what's your favorite dub plate? That's a shit one, but I mean, you've got to have one dub plate that's your all-time.
At the moment, it's a tune by Dillinger called Selassie Sound. Absolute murder. Like, I think Serum's got that. He's been playing these sets, but That tune, you know, it sounds. I don't know. I have to speed it up to play it because it's made in '95 or whatever.
Yeah.
But killer tune. Anyone that hears it's like, oh, they've never heard it before, but they're like, oh, it's big. Oh, because you know, you got Brian G with the Legend series as well. He's putting out a lot of these old dub plates.
Yeah.
He gave me a dub plate by Crust that Frost had played in '96 that I heard on the tape. You know when you have old tapes on radio and you just keep onto the tape, or you later on record that bit of the tape into your computer just to have it and hear it.
Yeah.
You didn't know where.
Yeah.
One day Brian G sent me this thing. Oh, yeah, we're putting this stuff out by Crust. And it was one of the tunes that I heard of Frost tape. I was like, oh man, couldn't believe it, man.
Okay, I've got a question for you. Do you remember that Maxwell bootleg that was going around?
How long ago was this?
Like fucking ages ago. I still don't know who made it. It was Maxwell. Oh fuck! I'm gonna try and pull it up right now because I still don't know who's made it at all. Here we go. Can you hear that?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. God knows.
Because I still don't know who made it. I've been trying to like fucking figure out who made it for ages. Easy Sand Dunes. She's joining me next week. Sick producer from India. Wicked. But yeah, you don't know who... Sand Dunes is wicked. But you don't know who made that Maxwell tune then?
No idea. It sounds like it could be something to do with Oh, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Come on, mate. It's about time that one was out.
Dude, this is okay. So this is out though, isn't it? This is out. You're giving this
yeah. Neefemer's put it up for a free download. It's the Roy Davis Jr. Bootleg, D&B bootleg. He's done it really well. You know what? The most difficult thing is to take a house tune and make it right for drum and bass.
It's kind of garage though, isn't it? So it's already about 135.
Oh yeah, sorry, garage tune. Yeah, but on that tempo, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 120ish, 130.
Yeah.
But he did a really good job on it. And there's another one as well. Who did Hive Mango? Who did that? Hive Mungo. Hive. There's no Hive Mungo.
I typed that
in.
I typed that in and it's got loads of mangoes. I just got bare mangoes on my computer screen.
He's done another one. It's really good.
Joy Orbison.
It's actually, I prefer it to the Gabriel one.
Mungo's Hi-Fi.
Oh yeah, Joy Orbison. Who was that? Kareem. Well done, Joy Orbison. Total Recall. How you doing, boss? Total Recall. There's a lot of people in it, man.
Yeah, man. I love doing these. These are fucking great. Fellowship versus Macwell. Gravity.
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
I was going to say Carlito and Addiction. It has that sound.
Right. Okay. Fellowship. Sick. So yeah, the Roy Davis Jr. bootleg's out right now and it's free, which is fucking great. I'm so happy.
Yeah, free on Bandcamp. Neefemer's Bandcamp.
The way he's like, I think what it is that the vocals are so iconic, and the way he cut them, like he recycled them and cut them all up and placed them on the beat like properly, so it doesn't sound odd.
Yeah. Me and I'm not going to take credit for it, but we did to and fro and stuff, and he does a lot of the time throw stuff at me, and there's a lot of versions of stuff, and if I hear something a bit like that, sounds a bit weird, I'm like, that sounds odd. What is that? You know what I mean? I don't know what he's done, but you know, we went back and forth on that, and he's really made it absolutely right. We played that at Soul Emotion at 933 East, smasher.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see how this will go down on Sunday, actually, people standing at their tables. But I'm still playing in front of actual humans is something I really miss doing.
Hang on, are we not allowed to leave our tables? Chains, we could be chained to the table.
It's the COVID restrictions, man. You've got to stay at your table with your crew. It's all table service drinks and shit as well. It's going to be interesting to see. It's an experiment, isn't it?
So will I be on the table with, if I've got if it's me and 2 other people, would it be 3 other people on the table?
No, you can book and ask for, I want a table for 3. Or I will get you a table for however many you want.
Right, I'm going to look into this, man.
Yeah, get a crew and just let me know how many and I'll sort it out.
Yeah. Nice one, man. I'm looking to get some, you know, it's tequila time. How am I going to reach you then? How are we going to do our thing? How am I going to reach with you?
Well, we'll be like DJing, so we'll be on our group
floaters.
we're floaters. And then
Floaters.
all the poo emojis came up. It was fucking hilarious. It's just like, and also with an Indian accent, it's really funny. It's all just like floating.
You know what? I've got to show you something because you see, this is right next to me here, right?
Yeah.
You see this here? You
Yeah.
see all this?
Yeah.
Let me pull out a few of these, yeah? What these are?
Are they all DATs or are they all cassettes?
These are all Metalheads tapes.
Sick.
From the original sessions. This is, what's this one? Leisure Lounge. I've got Blue Note. I've got like Heaven. I've got it all here. Like these. No, so what would happen was, yeah, if you played at Metalheads, yeah, when you went back to the club the following week, you'd get a cassette of your tape and everybody else who played that night. And these are the original cassettes. These are the original cassettes right here. And I've got loads of them, man. All these, all Metalheads.
Are you uploading them and digitizing them and stuff, or are you going to keep them all until they all break and are unplayable?
I can't answer that question. But if I had digitized them, there would be at least 50 sets.
Wow. Wow.
A and B, yeah.
Wow. That's not because I had a DAT machine running all the time at Blue Note, right?
Yeah, all the time. Actually, is Threshold Forrester has the original Blue Note DAT machine. He has that DAT machine. A bit of history there. So yeah, they recorded everything, and I have some of the DATs here. I have some.
I've seen
Goldie,
your posters,
yeah, Goldie gave me some, and Storm had some, and I had them all at my old flat. And I took a picture of them all lined up in the hallway. Every single DAT Metalhead's recorded.
That's insane, man. They've got to be digitized. You can't risk having them in one place, like one centralized place.
It's a matter of who's going to listen to them. The DATs I have left here still are unlabeled. I have to listen to them and work out who was on them. Sometimes you can't work out who.
Yeah.
This is Tilly, by the way. She keeps... You like to interfere, don't you, Tilly?
Tilly. Oh, hello,
right.
Tilly.
Oh, man, she's going... Okay, just let her do her thing.
Kareem is right. Get G's permission first before you upload them, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. But Metalheads have been digitizing them. They had been putting them up.
Sick.
Yeah, they've been doing it. Yeah, they've been doing that. So that's all good.
Big up Nikesh. And also, yeah, so DJ Total Recall was saying that you did a seated gig and it was wicked.
You did what, sorry?
A seated social distance gig and it was wicked.
I need to try this. I need to, yeah. Because I ain't got no plans Saturday. You did do it, definitely.
I tell you what, like I said, to actually be in a room and have people in a room, I think is going to be quite special. Just even play one tune to human beings. Because this streaming shit's been doing, like, I did a set for VH1 and it was loads of fun. And you're in the vibe, you're in the zone, you're having a few drinks. And then you end the session and it's just you alone in a room. And it's like... Well,
you know what? To be honest, when you're on tour as a touring DJ, that's what it's like. When you go abroad in America or wherever, Germany, and it's a massive party and there's all this adulation, I think particularly on tour.
Yeah, but you've always got an after party. But you've got an after party, bro. You always have drinks with the promoter.
No, I can't, man, because I've got early flight the next day. I can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, when you have all this, you feel amazing. You come back and it's a quiet hotel room on your own. Yeah. It's really weird. I think that's why people go to after parties and stuff like that. But or drink themselves to death. Or,
I was going to say, like, hi Nitin, how's it going? Nitin's already in the house. Big up. The thing that I realized was that when I was on tour, and I think we took Benga to India, so it was me, Deco, and Benga. We were at Shiva Sound System, and Benga went clean, so he would like quit everything, stop drinking, whatever. Yeah. And I was just like, God, touring and not drinking is such a shit, lonely existence. It's just so isolating. I found it.
It's tough. When you do that, you have to just take it as it's just business. You're just working. You know what I mean? Which you don't want to do. You want to be like
in the vibes.
I like it. The perfect night is when it's like a birthday party. Everybody's in on the vibe, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's not just about you, you know. I prefer those smaller ones, you know what I mean? Those festivals where you're like 30 foot away from people, that's just vibeless, you know what I mean? I like the small clubs.
See, I think that after partying and drinking is also really hazardous because you end up fucking yourself up. But I think for a limited run, I think maybe I'm blessed that way because I don't have back-to-back tours for months. It's like one country as a chunk, you know what I mean? And
no, I'm 2 weeks max, then I'll go home because I get homesick, you know what I mean? But what I have done before, when I know it's a bit tight, and someone happened to mention an after party, I'll go back to the hotel, pack my stuff immediately, dress in my clothes that I'm going to take the next flight with, and I sit up on the bed and set the alarm. So it's like, ah! Then I off out to the hotel, to the airport.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. I'm more like, I would do that. I'd pack and wear the clothes I'm going to wear to the airport, and then fuck off to the after party, and then run back, grab my shit, and go straight to the airport. Yeah. And Nitin's right. Nitin's saying
if you know it's like the sun's coming up, you know the first thing you got to do when you get to the hotel is pack, change your boxes, you know what I mean, all that sort of thing. Go to it, do it, because when you wake up, it's like you ain't thinking, you don't really want to do it then.
I tell you what, actually, Nitin's right. So he's just saying that when he's on tour, it's a huge psychological challenge, a combination of being open and disciplined, which is like a real head fuck. Yeah,
it's very difficult. It's the same with radio. You know, there's certain rules, there's certain things you have to abide by, but you want to put your personality on it as well.
See, like with radio, because you've got like restrictions, like not swearing and having to sort of keep like crossing. I find that when you've got those restrictions, you get more creative with what you can say. So I kind of enjoy pushing it a little bit and fucking with what's permissible.
Nah, just stay away from it. It's just drama.
Yeah, yeah, but I love fucking with people. That's kind of my thing.
There was a time on One Extra when they said you're allowed to say the word shit, but it was in context of. Do you remember this? You were allowed to say shit, but in the right context. So you were allowed to say that tune is the shit, but you weren't allowed to say that tune is shit.
Yeah.
So I knew I was going to mess it up, so I just stayed away from it. I didn't bother.
Fair enough. Actually, there was this one, like, when I started on Asian Network, there was, who was it, actually? I think it was me, then it was Foreign Beggars, and then it went over to Patan, who's like a chill-out sort of worldly DJ. But I remember Pavan from Foreign Beggars, right? They forbid him from freestyling on air because he swore. But you know what the freestyle was? He was just like, I'm going to go into your kitchen and steal your fucking apples. Of all things to fucking get wrong. That's ridiculous.
I had to pull Nika Black Market off the mix one time.
Oh, really?
You know when you get on, you give everybody a warning, blah, blah, blah. You know, is there no bad language in your music? And they're like, yeah, everything's cool.
Yeah.
This was the Christmas party. Yeah. I think Chickaboo was there. There's some other people as well. But so the first tune, I think the third, he had a white label and it said like something like bitch or motherfucker, something like that. And I was like, oh, Nicky, the tune's on there. I think it was Blood Clot. The tune was Blood Clot.
Okay.
And I said, Nicky, I said, you know, the tunes, you know what I mean? Like, can't have this language in there. Are you sure everything else is absolutely clean? And I was like, he was like, yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. Then it happened again. It was like, we had to end the mix. We had to end it, man.
I did, Nitin also just said, what about that shit tune is the shit?
No, that doesn't work.
But you know what? There was this one, I was standing in for Bobby Friction on the Asian Network, and Reggie was producing the show, and that was like my trial by fire, because I had to play tunes I hated. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not the biggest Bhangra fan, right? And I just really don't like defining myself by race anyway. And it was, you know, I had to sort of, basically I just got drunk before every show, and I just got better and better at presenting and, you know, being myself and sort of getting over myself, basically. Just got over my ego. But there was one track by, was it Dizzy Rascal? It's called Old School. It's like blood, it's about to get old school and whatever. And then,
yeah.
And then in brackets, it was called Pussy On, right? And Reggie, there was no instructions from management that I couldn't say it on air, right? So Reggie, I'd give her a heart attack every time. I'd insert the track and I'd be like, I love saying this. And I'd cut down the bed and everything. I'd say, and this is Pussy On. And just press play. And Reggie would just be like, it was wonderful.
How did you get away with that? See, my producers, like, I've had many, but like, coming towards the end, it was Janine and Leanne. And they'd be panicking if that stuff happened because they didn't want to do all the paperwork. You know, you have to like be like, the word pussy went on air. It happened at this time. Then it has to go up the tree. You know, the paperwork. They didn't want to do it. Right? Yeah. So some of the times we just like act like it didn't happen. You know, I mean, I tried my hardest, but sometimes it leak out.
Oh man, I think that's it. I think actually because One Extra was the urban station, And it was just, you know, there's a couple of things that bugged me. Was that the Asian network was called the Asian network? That kind of still bugs me. I'm just like, One Extra wasn't the black channel. You know what I mean? It was just, it was worded in a different way. But equally, the amount of eyeballs on it from management, because it was an urban channel, was way more intense. Do you know what I mean? I think there was just like, they were watching closer, whereas because Asian network had news and religious content and languages and all that kind of shit, there was a little bit more, they didn't know what they were looking at. You know what I mean? Or what they were watching out for the longest time. So we got away with absolute murder. No,
I couldn't get away with certain words because Janine knows these words as well. She comes from West Indian background and stuff. Certain things got slipped. I was never trying to deliberately slip these things by her.
Yeah.
But if it did come out, she'd be like, "Did you see her face on the last show I did? There's a picture of her like this. There was things happening that was out of my control."
Dude,
and
the whole thing was it was, okay, you know what it was like, right? And I know we wouldn't discuss this, right? But basically, imagine a green room, a gig, like XOYO, Andy C's playing, and everyone's in that little fucking box room at XOYO, getting up to mischief, right? That's what it was like in the One Extra studio on your last show.
And everybody, if anyone could find the picture of everybody in there, you just see all the people, everybody drunk. You see the picture of everyone there, everybody drunk. So no, you know what?
Yeah.
My drink just run out, but I've got like a little bit of vodka.
Okay.
And I've got some gin. What are you drinking?
Whiskey.
I'm gonna stay with the vodka.
Okay. Well, you're gonna switch it up. Make a little James Bond martini. It's a shot of vodka and a shot of gin, and Lié, not vermouth, Lié.
That sounds horrendous.
Yeah. Hang on a second.
That sounds so dangerous. Typically, you would recommend something like that.
Reggie's just put up a big ass message. I think we're triggering her BBC memories now. There's a Bhangra track that had a breakdown which said, "Ride the Panani, make Bali Jagpal balmy." And because the management didn't know what Panani meant, it was on the playlist for the longest time. That's amazing. Dude, I remember this row I had, right? Do you remember when, was it TC that had a track called Rockstar?
Yes.
Right. And on my sort of AOL Instant Messenger, someone sent over the porn star version, which had a female voiceover.
Oh, right.
Right. And the lyric is, "No little man can handle this," right? But my then boss, who was very much a job's worth, that's all I'll say, thought that instead of little man, it was N-word man. And I was like, mate, that's not what it says. That is not what it says. So I had to get TC's management to write an email saying that's not what it said.
I've had some stuff accidentally censored as well. Like, it didn't even make sense. I think someone censored shadow boxing. I think it's to do with the speech at the beginning, but there was no swearing in it. It was from a kung fu film.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre.
Actually, okay, one of my things that I got away with, you know Prince, Erotic City?
Right, yeah.
Right, so I played that on Six Music, and the point of contention is Erotic City Come Alive. We can funk until the dawn, or we can fuck until the dawn. It's deliberately ambiguous.
Oh, yeah.
So we can fuck until the dawn, making love till Cherry's gone. That bit. Sorry, forgive my shit singing voice. It's embarrassing. Nitton's watching this.
Not bad.
Yeah, but then what they fucked up, what everyone seems to miss in the radio world, is that there's a whole bit where he goes, "Fuck so pretty, you and me, Erotic City Come Alive," and everyone misses that fuck. Everyone. So I'm just like, it's like,
oh, you're a cheeky one. I just didn't want to get in trouble. I'm not like you. I'm too disciplined.
Yeah, I like pushing the barriers, man. I really do.
So how long was you on the BBC for?
So my first ever show was in 2003, and Reggie was meant to produce it on Radio 1. And I had a big chip on my shoulder that Bobby and the House show was basically a lot of, like, anything that had a vague Asian sound to it was like Bhangra or whatever was on their show. And I was like, what about all the brown kids that are not making stuff that sounds Asian? How is that? You know, there's nowhere for them to go. If you're making fucking punk, or you're making drum and bass, or you're making whatever, you're not going to get airplay on there for some weird reason. It's just, for some reason, you're just not going to be taken seriously because you're brown. Unfortunately, that's the way it was. You know what I mean? And also maybe the production values weren't as good because you were compared to other brown people, not the genres. So that was my thing. You know, I was like, if there's a kid in a basement in Birmingham making drum and bass, and you're going to signpost him being brown as opposed to the fact he's making drum and bass, it's not going to fucking help anyone. You know what I mean? So my whole thing was I want to help these kids and people making music around the world that happen to be brown to stand shoulder to shoulder with their own genres. You know what I mean? As opposed to just being in a fucking brown box. So I got vexed about that, and I used to chew Reggie's ear off about it and cuss everyone at Radio 1, because I used to bring artists over from India and serve them there and stuff. And so I used to just gun them constantly. And then so I did a one-off show on Radio 1 in 2003, which was just all fucking brown freaks. Do you know what I mean? And punk bands and shit like that. So that was the first thing. And then got onto Asian Network. And again, my job as I saw it was to blur the barriers and not make it a ghetto. Do you know what I mean? Like Nitin says, it was like, you know, I think when you give a minority a platform, that's wicked. As soon as you ring fence it, it becomes a ghetto. Do you know what I mean? And my job was to blur those barriers, you know what I mean? And sort of make it accessible to everyone. And, you know, have like high caliber guests on the Asian Network show and make it accessible to everyone, because it had the Asian bit in the title, which is going to put off people that aren't Asian.
Yeah, people immediately in their mind assume that what that's going to sound like. But there's been times when I listen to it, it's quite much on the parallel with One Extra.
Yeah, totally. So that bugged me so much. So on the Asian Network, my job was to blur that. Then I got onto Radio 1 with Decode. And then my idea there was to blur genre barriers. And then Six Music was fucking great, actually. Six Music was my favorite. It was on there for like 3 years, I think. Wow. And it was a show with like, alongside DJ Shadow, Tom York, and like people like that on a rotation. It was fucking sick.
You know what? Who's the guy, the Scottish guy at what? BBC? Asian, but Scottish.
Hermit.
Oh
He used to produce
God.
John Peel. Oh, it's actually John Peel's broadcast.
Was he was on 6, right?
I don't think he was. I think he was on Radio 2. He was on
right,
Radio
okay,
1.
So he said to me, after I came off of One Extra, he said to me, would you like go on Radio 2? You know what I mean? And guess what? I said no.
Why?
I said no.
Well,
because
so
I thought...
You know, Nitin did a Radio 2 show and Hermit produced that.
I didn't know any better. I thought, you know, because I would have to play that older music and I want to play new stuff. And I thought, I'm not going to go on this station. They're going to send me to, you know, to die playing old shit. And I said no. And
your record collection's so fucking massive. You could have done it.
I regret it.
You totally.
It's like, yeah.
In fact, talking of Anita, who I'm forcing to DJ on Saturday, she's standing in for Joe Wiley on Radio 2 now, and she's running, what's that D&B tune? Jenna G's first D&B tune.
Like In Love or something.
Midnight.
Midnight, yeah.
She's running that on Radio 2 tonight on Joe Wiley's show.
I didn't know she was into it like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. But yeah, you should have fucking... Oh, man, I wish you'd done Radio 2. That would have been sick.
I was just stupid about it, man. I should, like, just do things and see how it goes and then leave. But I always go, oh, no, and then just leave off.
Yeah.
That's right. You might be able to help me.
Huh?
Out of all my 10 years on One Extra, yeah, there's one tune, Nuria Hamid and someone else had produced the track. Now, the original was by A.R. Rahman, right?
Okay.
But they retitled the thing because they put an Amen beat on it. They called it The Americans Are Coming. It never came out. The production was really ragged, man. Ragged as fuck.
Yeah.
But it was one of the most popular tunes on my station. A.R. Rahman, The Americans Are Coming, Nuria Hamid, and someone else remixed.
You know, Reggie might spot that. She might know that. I'm just looking it up.
She was it's really nice vibes, real nice.
That name Nuria sounds really fucking familiar.
Nuria, yeah, I ain't seen her for years.
Was that? Oh, I think okay. I think I know who you're talking about now. Oh yeah. But anyway, also Nitin, who's come to my party on Saturday. Reggie, could you tell Nitin about our party, please? Yeah, that's good. Nuria, I think I'm just going to search my master library. But do you want that?
Master library? What is that? What's that?
Oh, mate, I've got like my iTunes library is like proper master from like, I've got like 3 or 4 iTunes libraries and I've got one on a RAID server that's got like maybe a terabyte of music from going back to 1995.
Tilly.
Hello,
She
Tilly.
knows the name, yeah, you see. Anyway.
But do you want that tune or something? What do you want?
No, I have it, but I'm just saying, it was, the strangest thing was, there was lots of tunes that were really well produced and they did well, but as soon as they sort of like had their moment, they were automatically gone as well. This tune was being requested again and again and again, and it was the most ruggedly made tune. Really? Like, quite loose in production. Great tune, really great tune.
I reckon Bobby will definitely have it. I don't think I've got it.
A.R. Rahman, the Americans are coming, Nuria Hamid. I'll dig it out for you. I'll dig it out.
Yeah, it's so weird. I'm like that much. Easy, Badar. How's it going? Yeah, actually, Reggie, you might know it. Remember Noria, right? Badar. Badar's a gangster, man. Teaches kids javelin and stuff, and also makes amazing cocktails. It's quite the multitasker.
Wow.
Yeah, man. It's all about
javelin and cocktails.
It's all about that, isn't it? It's all about that. I bet he's good at some other things as well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's all about the bicep strength. Yeah, man. But look, dude, so there was that whole other thing. We just got to fucking Soul Emotion. Are you guys, like, you're obviously going to bring it back when everything opens again?
Yeah, absolutely. You see, the thing is, no one can predict what's going on right now. We could have a spike and there's another lockdown, blah, blah, blah. But I'm waiting for the circumstances to be right for us to come back, and then we'll do it then.
Yeah. Totally. I'm looking forward to it. Do you know there was that whole like massive thing in drum and bass about like around Black Lives Matter, which was fucking interesting to observe about all of that. And I'm not going to name names or go into it all, but that was quite a moment, wasn't it?
It's still a moment. It's still going on.
Because you know what? I was just, you got me thinking about this whole thing about race and music, and we were discussing just now almost the sort of the decolorization of drum and bass across the BBC. But I also thought about that in drum and bass, and I heard from other people just there's no young black producers in drum and bass, and I'm like, really?
However, there are, but you have to look at Jump Up for that.
Really? Are they all in Jump Up?
Oh man, you had Hizzle Guy blowing up. You know what I mean? Like the guy, Hizzle Guy on his own to pack the place out. There's loads of these Jump Up guys who are doing really well, and not necessarily on the liquid tip or drum and bass, but all jungle. It's the Jump Up thing. The Jump Up thing where the kids are. These guys are blowing the place up. You know what I mean? There's other names, but I can't remember them right now. But yeah, they are there, but they are still not as revered or as known as people of a lighter color.
Or given the same opportunities, I guess. Because I think...
well, listen, look, it all comes down to, you know, I don't want to go back to institutionalized racism, but, you know, there was the hostile environment, blah, 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 you know what I mean? All that shit. It's all by design, and because of that, you know, people of a darker color are now kind of sort of held back because it's sort of like, you know, it's like a lighter skin is more, seems to be deemed as a more trustworthy complexion to go forward with, you know what I mean? You know, I'm not like, we could really go into this, but it's done by the government. Like, okay, at a real basic level, when the bombings and World War happened and the country was in trouble, they really needed people to come over and help rebuild the country. So my mom was in Guyana when the airplanes flew over and they dropped leaflets off saying, come to England, you know what I mean? Yeah. So they come over, they get the help they need. Next thing you know, we don't want you here no more. Hostile environment was deliberately created by law to make people feel uncomfortable and go back home. You know what I mean? And that's why this whole sort of thing whereby you see people who are of a lighter color representing music that is technically urban and black music. You know what I mean? That's why it happens.
That's happened from the days of Elvis onwards. But bro, we've got a warning, right? Do you want to reconvene and like refresh your drink, go to the loo, and I'll call you back and we'll jump on again? Or do you want to say farewell?
No, I'm all good. You reconvene, man.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to go pee and get to the drink. And everyone watching, thank you for coming. We'll be live again in
I'm going to get some ice.
2 minutes. All right, see you in a bit, bro.
All right, cool. All right, bless.
Welcome back. Just to quickly deal with my flies, you know what I mean? Part 2 of me and Bailey catching up. ended it on quite a serious note. But I enjoy talking to Bailey. He's a real talker, do you know what I mean? We talked about real things in a very real way. But yeah, hopefully he'll rejoin me. I should have messaged him and told him that I'm going back live again, back live, bro. There you go. So, how you doing? You alright? Insta Sriram, how's it going? Hey, Bailey's here. Wicked. Frax. Request it. There you go. Will this connect? Sometimes it just fails. Also, my ball patch is getting
what
ridiculous.
the hell? That's my light.
Just double tap the screen, bruv.
There you go.
Sorted.
Dude, that's the thing with these light rings. They kind of
changed.
show up my ball patches kind of...
My shot's different this time.
What'd you do? Did you move it around?
No, I ain't moved it at all. No.
Dude, I tell you what, I've been plucking my eyebrows so raw, they're all bruised and shit. It's not good.
By the way,
you got bad eyebrows, yeah.
Thanks, bro. But Reggie found that tune, and I realised why I don't have that tune. It's because I hate it.
Oh, why?
I can't stand it because I think it butchers a classic A.R. Rahman tune, which is just fucking amazing. And the production is just not very good.
It's whack.
Yeah, but I
know that.
I have a better remix of it. I have a better version of it.
I know this.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is also what's good about it is the fact that for me, someone is not. I didn't know who A.R. Rahman was before this. It's like that's what you do. You know what I mean? You leak it into this. Like, who's this? Like, look at Adele and the High Just remix of Adele.
Oh, that's
who's
amazing.
Adele?
That was wicked.
It was good, wicked. But who's Adele? That really helps sell her. That's what it's good for.
Absolutely. Well, you could say this. Well, actually, I suppose LaRue really got a lot off that Scream remix as well.
Look at that. Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? But I think that with A.R. Rahman so big in India, right? And actually, you've got to be honest. The person to introduce A.R. Rahman to the West was Talvin at the Blue Note, in fact. So you know, Talvin used to do. You guys, the Metalheads was Sunday, and then Anorka was a Mondays, right?
Was it? Oh yes, it was.
Yeah. So like legendary sort of night was when he turned the lights off, lit some candles, and played this whole thing called Bombay theme tune, the theme from a film called Bombay, and it also made his compilation album Anorka Sounds the Asian Underground. But that remix that you were talking about, I couldn't stand it, and I refused to play it because I was just like, this is fucking heresy. Do you know what I mean?
They did just like literally just chuck a break from a well-known jungle track on it.
100%. And then, but then, so there's one version of it. So we talk about dub plates and stuff. So on the Asian scene, I got sent a load of stuff as well. And there's a producer who's massive in India right now called Nuclear. And he's like India's Skrillex. Nuclya, Nuclear. But he was in a group called Bandish Project. It was like these two kids that used to make bootlegs and mashups, and when they were together, I think they were amazing. I think that as time's gone by, you know, that sort of youthful experimental spirit gives way to not a formula, but that initial energy gives way to a career. You know what I mean? There's something special about that initial spark, right? And I'll fucking play it to you. It's my favorite remix. And it turns out I'm the only one with it. No one else has got this version.
All right.
Yeah, no one else has got this. And they did a similar cut, like I think it was made in Fruity Loops, where they copied and pasted it across. And it starts off with this. This is just so much better than that Moses Modesto one.
Okay. I mean, it's tight.
It's a long ass intro. I'm jump in a bit.
It's much tighter than the other one. Yeah, it's much tighter.
So much better. And then check out this drop as well, right? So it goes to a massive, massive fuck off, like weird breakdown, because I'm into my weird stuff, right? Like I'm, you know, my weird sort of glitchy Aphex.
Goddamn cat.
And then check this out. This is how it builds back up.
The strings.
So much better than the other one.
Yes, that's what sold it. The strings. Because everything was kind of quite nice. Oh, really big.
This is the best version. Yeah.
Big shout to Dogger.
Easy, Dogger.
My cat won't leave me alone. Look at this cat. Look.
Easy, new flow.
Cat's just like.
It's just not even looking at the camera.
Shit.
He's not even looking at the camera.
Cat doesn't give a shit, man.
But yeah, so what we're talking about? We're talking about young black producers in Jump Up.
Yes. Hizzle guy. These guys were like, they could like sell out whatever, 20,000 on their own. You know what I mean? And that's where they are now, you know? They're not necessarily. Do you want
That's
the
celery?
vodka. That's the vodka right there.
Dude, all you need is tomato juice with your celery and vodka, and then you've got to Bloody Mary.
That's the fucking vodka. Oh, shit.
Excellent. This is why I love these chats. The second half is always better because everyone's a bit wicked. With Fabio's, I was mumbling and stuttering and dribbling and shit.
Oh,
brilliant.
Fabio.
Yeah.
It was the... What's the urban version of the Brit Awards? Mobos.
Right.
We went to the... Groove was on tour. He couldn't make it. So Fabio asked me to come with him one year.
Okay.
And it was table service. And when, you know, you have those sort of ice buckets, yeah? And you usually have stuff in it, or a wine cooler.
Right.
And I had it in the middle of the table. It's just me and Fabio at the table, nobody else. And we was right near the front. And sort of leaned to the side in it was a Hennessy, special bottle of Hennessy.
Yeah.
And there was no table service coming around. So me and Fabio, we just drunk it neat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the first time I ever see Fabio fucked up. You know what I mean? We were fucked. So we were both dizzy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So by the time the after party came, which is usually whack, we stuck around. It was just meandering about.
I can't imagine you two at the Mobos. That's just too unlikely.
It's crazy.
Can
you imagine?
Like G there, not you two.
Fabio went to Crufts as well. He went to Crufts.
What the fuck?
Crufts. Him and Groove. I think they went to Crufts.
That's some serious 90s celeb blowback business.
That's when I was in Radio. That's so random. When I was in Radio 1. So random.
Those were the good. I mean, I remember that. Do you remember that smoking room in Yalding, which we won't talk about? But that little room in the basement where you could go for a cigarette.
It was like a throwback, wasn't it? That room.
The whole of Yalding was so much fun. Have you been to the new studios?
Yes.
New broadcasting house. So
yes,
that shit, you can't bring any booze in. You can't do anything that we got away with on Radio 1 or 1 Extra or anything anymore.
Yeah, but I would do. Really?
Yeah, I did a show. Me and Dee did like a Shiver Sound System special on Bobby's show, and we were like raggo, like searched and everything on the way.
Really?
Yeah, we were raggo, searched everything. It was just like you didn't want to take anything, and also because it's a bomb threat and all that kind of shit as well. And having a load of brown people going, you want to pat them down seriously. You know what I mean? So we got proper pat downs, pat ups. You know,
I'd have tried to slip in a flask or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I tried, but it was just so prime because there's video cameras. Like, there were cameras in Yalding as well, but no one gave a fuck back then. For some reason, there was
glass bottle. Oh, it's got metal top there, isn't it?
You can't take glass. You can't take glass in. So in the studio, yeah, it's so strict. That's what I was just like. God, the days that we were on radio was just so much fun. Billy, big up Billy Security. That's right, Kareem.
Is he there? Oh, Billy, what?
I don't think Billy is there anymore, but I remember at Yalding. Like he was gangster. Yeah. Billy was amazing. Billy was a security guard on the door.
And he was Dizzy Rascal's personal security after for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Billy was amazing as security. I reckon he's saved my ass a couple of times actually.
Billy was just so nice. He was the guy on the last show that I did who opened up the. You know that they had the conference room or whatever it was at 1 Extra on the. Where they had the playlist meetings and stuff like that.
Okay.
He opened the fire exit on that to let people stay in there because there's too many people in there, and that was really against the rules, man. Billy's wicked. I love Billy.
The conference room downstairs no, that was upstairs in the top bit.
It was on the first floor. So there was a playlist meeting room on the first floor.
One Extra Studios moved upstairs, didn't they? Instead of the basement. So there's 4 studios in the basement, and One Extra had 2 upstairs as well, right? Or 1?
Yeah, everything. The whole operation was the 3rd floor.
Okay.
Whereas Radio 1 had about 4 floors.
Yeah, but the studios were in the basement. It was like...
they were in the basement, and then you come up a level, that's the production office.
Yeah.
You go up 1, you have the newsroom. You go up 1, that's One Extra.
Yeah.
You go up 1, you had, is it internet team and all that sort of stuff?
I guess. And then
like
the 4th was like upper management, right?
That's right.
Because I remember, I remember that. Fuck, that building was so much fun. I did so much stuff that I shouldn't have in that building. It was great.
I was in a hurry to do a pre-record at Radio 1 Studios, and I came down the stairs and smashed my box into someone's leg. Who was it? Flipping it. Who's that? I can't remember him now.
What, management or someone famous?
No, it was an artist, an important artist, and he looked at me like, what? I just like kept it moving because I was embarrassed.
Do you know what? That was the thing actually, because in that room between the studios downstairs, I remember actually me and you had a whole Mac versus PC debate in the live lounge bit between the studios in fucking 2008 or something, 2007. We were exchanging tunes. I remember this, and we were having this whole debate about it. I don't remember
that. Dappy
from N-Dubs.
Dappy, yes. Dappy,
you smashed your record box.
I smashed his shins in, man, and he wasn't happy about that. He looked at me like, what? And I was just like, I realized, like, just a quick glance, I was like, oh shit, that's Dappy. I just kept it moving.
Yeah, but you know, that was the thing about the old Radio 1 building. There was no back entrance. There was no back, like, secret entrance. That front door was the front door. Yeah. So everyone, no matter how big, from fucking Madonna to whoever the fuck, went in through that front door. So there was always paparazzi and shit, and that was the one doorway for everything. And I remember being in the live lounge, and I was sat there working on my show, doing sort of some fucking compliance or whatever the hell. And I remember just drinking a can of Coke, and I burped really fucking loudly. And I was like, and just carried on going because it was, what the fuck, been there, whatever. And Lady Gaga was next to me, and that was quite funny.
I crossed paths with Jessie J. I was like, who's that? Oh, someone getting interviewed, and then that was just before she blew up, man.
Yeah,
mad.
That was it. And that whole Gaga thing was the first album, so no one really knew. Like, it was all American apparel wear as opposed to anything custom. Do you know what I mean? So when the careers were first starting up, that was the good thing about working there. You just never knew who the fuck you'd run into. It was so much fun. And then, of course, you get invited to Crufts.
Yeah, well, that was Fab and Groove, you know what I mean? That's like, because you're on Radio 1 and all that, you get. But I had, like, you remember the voiceover man from X Factor?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like, he passed through the building one time, and one of my producers managed to grab him for some drops, and now it's like, big boots, Mr. Bailey to you. I still got him. And that guy's expensive. That guy's super expensive. X Factor voice. Dude, you could bump into so many people in that building.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just fucking jokes.
Big shout to Barely Legal.
Barely Legal.
In the
Big
place.
Up Chloe. Yeah, I think she's coming on Saturday too. I'm looking forward to this. It should be quite a little reunion.
I'm going to have to take binoculars, in it, to be like, wave at people at other tables. Because,
do you know what? I was in there to do a little sort of recce. And, you know, like when you got a Fabric when it's closed. And in fact, I remember walking out of Fabric with you and Fabio when it shut down, and I was leathered. And I was like, we're going to do a tour to India with you, like with Fabio and Bailey. We call it F&B, food and beverage. And I was just talking such shit. I remember, like, I was talking such shit. But, you know, like when you walk to an empty club, it seems a lot smaller when it's all the lights are on and stuff. So with Village Underground, it seemed quite small. So you won't need binoculars, bro. Just a little. Maybe your reading glasses, or no, that doesn't work. Your long distance glasses. Yeah, or something.
Yeah. I actually do have glasses, but I don't like to wear them. I had footage I posted the other day of the very last night at the end.
Oh, bro.
Coming up the stairs, Super nostalgic.
I didn't make the last night at the end. What I did make was the last swerve, which was, to me, that was the last night. That was fucking brilliant. When Fabio just played, we're going to get burping again now. It's like I'm in the live lounge. When Fabio just played like 5-6 hours just straight.
He could go on forever too.
Were you at Chase and Status' album launch?
Which one?
The very, very first one. So before they got signed off, when they were at Ram, and Andy was there. He just had a little girl. Shy was there. Shy was playing, and something awful happened. I think his grandma had passed or something, and it was on a Tuesday, and it was just fucking bedlam. Like it was like an industry thing. But
what was the venue? What venue?
The end.
Oh no, I don't think I was there. No, I don't remember that.
Oh man, I really missed the end. That was just fucking great.
I've been to other launches later on, but not that one. Actually, you know what? I've got to send love to Chase and Status, like big, like massive respect. What happens when you're at the BBC is usually if because of the radio station, the album does well, what is it, 10,000 or whatever, and there's a plaque or whatever. You know, they gave me like a plaque with my name in it, not the station. You know what I mean?
Wicked.
They really looked out for me. They were always good.
For more than a lot.
Yeah, they were always good.
Big up Spectre Soul. Easy.
Spectre Soul. There was a rumor. Can I say this? It's recorded. Yeah. There was a rumor that. Oh fuck! Can I say this?
I don't know, man.
There's a recording of it. It's out there.
Okay.
There was a rumor that one of the guys from. Oh no! Can I say this? There's a rumor out there that one of the guys from Chase and Status was seeing one of the cheeky girls.
What?
Yes.
Who? Will or Saul? It wouldn't have been Will.
I'm not gonna say that.
Okay, no, I'm not gonna say anything either. Shush. Yeah.
I brought it up. I heard this for a good source, and I brought it up when I interviewed him on One Extra, and it was like total confusion.
What they say? What they say? That's
well, one of them, I won't say who, obviously.
Yeah.
But one of them just sort of leaned back in the seat and went like this.
That's fucking jokes.
Yeah, man.
Fucking jokes.
Yeah, man. That was.
I can't.
That was true.
I can't make that work in my head. That just doesn't compute.
One of the cheeky girls. I was like, how did that happen?
That's too funny. That's a bit like Pro Green and what's her name from Made in Chelsea. When that happened, I was like, what?
That blew me away.
Yeah, that is quite funny. Fuck. But yeah, that Chase and Status album launch was wicked. And I remember that album got plugged to fuck because you couldn't move anywhere in that building without More Than a Lot being everywhere. That album cover was drenching the building. I
think that was the one that I got the plaque
That was
for,
the first album, and that was the album launch. That was the big...
No, the one after. What's the one with the yellow? I should know this. Oh, shit. They gave me the plaque. It fell off the wall the other day and the glass cracked. But I still have it.
Ah, man. Is it one with the bulldog on it?
Yes, with yellow writing.
Fuck. Come on. I'm just loading up. Come on.
Discogs.
No, I'm on my master library, bruv. Do you know what I mean?
Master library.
My master library. It's just not loading up for some fucking reason. Here we go. No More Idols.
No More Idols.
That's the one. Do you know what? Actually, Kareem just mentioned Made of L sessions. That was one of the best perks of working at the Beeb, was getting all the recordings of all this live shit that no one else had.
Yes.
Did you jack any of that stuff?
I didn't, but it was just like, Made of L was a big deal because, you know, the Beatles and everybody's been down there.
Yeah.
So just being there was made you dizzy. We did a thing called Dancehall and Bass. What's his name? Who's the guy who does the reggae sauce?
Fuck. Yeah, I know what you mean. Hang on a second.
Levi Roots.
Yeah.
Levi Roots. We had him. We had Yush. We had Earl 16. We did a drum and bass like reggae versus reggae thing at Made of L. And that was the special. That just being there, you don't even really think about it. And then we had One Extra had Saxon Sound in there, and wow. So the amount of things I've seen in that place, dude, that's a special place.
I don't know why the Beeb like told you to leave the station, because you seem like an ideal fucking DJ, because you never push shit. You're always really cautious. I went in and jacked loads of shit. I was fucking terrible. I'd try and push all their buttons, man.
Well, you know, it was 10 years, right? So
that's how you stayed on there for 10 years.
10 years.
That's how you stayed on there for 10 years.
You know, when the One Extra was built, it was a thing. It was actually a thing that no one should be on there more than, is it 4 years? Something like 4 or 6 years.
Right.
No one should be there not because they wanted to keep it the fresh talent. But I stayed for 10 years. Yeah, what I was going to say next is gone, so whatever.
All right. But that's the thing. I mean, you know, not that I'm going to brag, but me and Dee were meant to have like left in a similar thing because it was meant to be a rotation. And we were on there for 3 or 4, I think. So that was kind of cool, on Radio 1. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, what I was going to say, when it came to the time when I was like, time to leave, I sat down with the boss. I think it's Ben Cooper. Was it Ben? Yeah, it's Ben Cooper. And Reese was at the meeting. And it was like, you know, it's to let you know, I think you know, it's time that we move on, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, cool. And I was like, they said, is that it? I was like, yeah. Because what had happened, I was like, give someone else a chance, you know what I mean? I've been there 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Other people had kicked off, you know what I mean? I said to them, like, what do you expect me to do? Throw chairs around. Give someone else a chance, you know what I mean?
Sick. But Reese, you know what? Reese has always been a G, man. I've got a lot of time and love for Reese, man.
Reese is lovely.
I think without Reese, we would have never got onto Radio 1 at all. He was just such a fucking champion for that. And he also understood that it wasn't the race thing. So he wasn't like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll say it. One of the biggest annoyances was for me, was where people in the back office would confuse me and Dee for Bobby and Nihal. And we'd be called the Asian Beats Show. And I'm like, dude, we don't do Asian fucking beats, bro. You know what I mean? Like, that got my back up hard. And Reese was one of the execs in there that understood that it wasn't a brown hire. You know what I mean? He got what we were trying to do. Yeah.
Well, you know, Reese is on it, man. He's just very normal, embraces whatever. And there was one year, there was a One Extra staff party. This is when the budget was like, they cut the budget. And we had the community, whatever spot over in Great Portland Street. You know what I mean? It was
the one up the road.
The BBC Club. Yeah.
Oh,
shitty little place.
You mean the club that's in where Six Music Studio is?
Oh, is that it? I don't know.
You walk round the corner and take a right.
It's really close to the new studios. It's just on the corner by the zebra crossing.
Yeah. That's where Six Music is. Yeah.
So they cut the. Is it? Oh, wow. Yeah. So they cut the budget and they used that as a venue. And Reese come on and played the Ku Klux Klan by Black Gehoo. And I was like, oh, yeah. Reese is for real.
He really is, man. I tell you what.
No, Reese is like.
I'm going to tell you
his level.
I'll tell you a story actually about this, right? Because there's a thing about representation at the BBC and sort of this kind of box ticking thing that Reese didn't have. But it was interesting because I could raise shit with him on a real level, like on a real brutal level. So I think it was like Radio 1's big weekend in Kent, I think it was, right? So it was One Extra, Radio 1, and, you know, big fuck off thing. I think Madonna was playing. And I realized, I looked at the lineup and I was like, they had like, I think Punjabi Hit Squad was on One Extra. Me and Dee were on Radio 1. Bobby and Nahal were on Radio 1. And there was nothing Asian at all programmed. So Rago went up to me like, oh, is it a no Pakis allowed kind of thing or what? And I could say that shit to him, do you know what I mean? And he was just like, oh, fuck, because I knew it wasn't deliberate on his part. It was just the way that management wouldn't consider these things, you know what I mean? But he was the kind of person you could Rago say that shit to and he'd understand, you know what I mean? So
yeah, he's such a normal guy. I respect that guy. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I can talk to him on a real fucking level. Yeah, man. He's awesome.
I need to put in some, while I'm here, let me put in some criticisms about management. I'm not going to talk about new management because times have changed. When old management was in, Ben Cooper and all that shit, after Andy Parfit, it was a fucking downfall. But the problem was that they didn't listen to the people who were the experts on the music, yeah? So let's say we've got the One Extra tour that happened annually, yeah? They wouldn't say, okay, where are the hot cities right now? Where can we go to on the tour? Or, you know, who are the artists? They just put the tour together and here's the tour, everybody. There was like me, L Double, Flight, Friction, you know what I mean? Sapo, we were all in there. They never asked any of us. They just threw the tour together and said, hey, here's the tour. Yeah. And this is the problem with it, you know what I mean? The problem is at management level, they want to be seen as the one making the decisions, and the ones who are like, I did this and I did that. And they never ask the people who know, who live this life, you know what I mean, about what needs to be done. And that pissed me off, man. You know what I mean? If you want to make it better, listen to the people who know what they're talking about.
Totally. But you know what, bro? That's not just in the beat. That's fucking everywhere. So like the stuff that I do, like with like putting together tours, for example. So the tours we do in India, majority of stuff we do in India, right? It's always with like a corporate boardroom that have to explain every fucking artist to them. And it's simply because the people that control the money in all these things are good at controlling money. Do you know what I mean? That's their background. And whether they have to sort of justify it on terms they understand. It's a fucking nightmare. I totally agree with you. Do you know what I mean? But I think part of my whole realization from a very similar experience to what you're saying, because I'm like, you're not fucking listening to people that know, was to try and figure out how to talk to these boardroom motherfuckers in a language they understand. You know what I mean? And it's deeply frustrating. I totally get you. It's so frustrating.
You know what? That was the very first time I realized that the bigger the company you're in, doesn't matter, radio or whatever, the bigger the company you're in, the more fucked up it is. Smaller companies, more personable, blah, blah, blah. The bigger companies, fucking mess. Whoever's at the top wants to be seen as the sort of like the leading one, you know what I mean? It's bullshit, man.
Totally. I think that's a whole sort of, it's the thing about the executive world that I didn't understand at the time. And I think about that all the time, like how I used to approach shit when I was younger was a real fuck you punk kind of approach. And as I got older, I realized that I couldn't, it wasn't becoming of a man in his 40s to behave that way. Do you know what I mean? I had to be a little bit more calculating. But then I've come full circle and I'm like, fuck it. If I'm going to do something, it's going to have to be on my terms. And if it isn't, I'm going to be unhappy about it, right? So I'm back to that sort of punk fuck you approach again. Because it's just, I think it came with age and experience, maybe. I've gone full circle back to that way of thinking.
I'm actually like this with the music right now. I mean, I don't mean any disrespect to anybody who's making drum and bass right now, but I can't fully find the vibe that I'm looking for, you know what I mean? So what I've been doing is just making stuff. It's the same with Soul Emotion, you know? Like, rather than sit down and go, oh, this is shit, there's nothing, do something about it.
100%.
Do something. So I've been making tunes that when I hear it, just like, ooh, you know, the heart-wrenching ones, you know what I mean? I've been making tunes like that, and I ain't been telling nobody. I've just been playing them on radio shows, like whatever. Because I'm not, like, I'm in a privileged position, actually, because I've never needed production to elevate me, you know what I mean?
Because you're a name anyway, so you could actually just go, here's my tune.
Yeah, I came through as a DJ. I've never came through as a producer. So I can afford to make these tunes for me and not give a shit about whether it gets released or not. I don't care, you know what I mean? There's a lot of things that are just, for me, really deep, and I make them to play on the radio so people can feel a little something, you know what I mean? Hopefully they can feel what I'm feeling, you know what I mean? But that's where I'm with production right now, and I'm just making, like, the more I make tunes, the more I make tunes. I understand how quickly I can come up with the right snare and the right sound for the right tune, you know what I mean? Bootlegs, originals, VIPs. I did a VIP of Metropolis. I've got all kinds of shit that no one's heard before, you know what I mean?
Bruv,
all kinds of shit.
We did this tour, so it's me, Prash Engineers, Pavan from Foreign Beggars, and Ali Sachalina, who's a badass lawyer from New York. And we worked with Viacom India to help their bookings, right, for their festival Supersonic. So we took out fucking everyone on the first year. So like Goldie was there, Calix and TV, fucking, it was ridiculous. But we did a back-to-back session at the after party. So it was Chimpo, Alex Perez, Di, Goldie, D-Bridge, and no, not Todd Terry. Some ridiculous, massive house name as well jumped on the back-to-back. Carl Craig. It was fucking ridiculous at our after party. But Alex drew this Metropolis bootleg that I've never heard before or since. It was just like, it was almost like Unit meets Metropolis. Do you know what I mean? Kind of that weird Unit grooves that happened, but in a hip hop, it was fucking amazing.
For me, it's about the dub plate. You know, as a DJ, you know, might as well say it now. I'm secretly competitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you've got to be, because you've got to have the tune.
If someone gets the rewind, I was like, right, now I've got to play this up. God, what a privilege to play back to back with Storm, to play back to back with Randall, back to back with Doc Scott, back to back with Goldie. You know what I mean? But if they play something where it's like, whoa, it's mashing up the place, it's like you have to dig deeper. You have to say,
but you need that competition, bro. That's what keeps it exciting,
that's what makes you better. That's what makes you better.
Totally. Do you know what? You got me thinking, right? Like all of the club nights that we set up with Shiver Sound System or whatever, all of that was the same thing you're talking about. And even Fabio mentioned this when he made Creative Source, was that the stuff's not out there satisfying you, so you make your own fucking shit. And that's how you do it. And it was shocking to me because I thought that after Radio 1 and all of our club nights, I was like, right, there's going to be like a wave of motherfuckers putting on their club nights now, wicked. And there really wasn't until recently. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, I was a little bit disappointed with that. Did that happen with you as well?
I'm always about lead by example.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
I've got so many friends that just sit around and complain and bitch about shit, man. Soul Emotion.
How did you?
The club night.
I mean, how
on
did
a
you?
Wednesday.
Yeah, but how did you and Moses actually get on it? Because Moses was at V Recordings for a while, right? Need for Mirrors.
We go way back.
Yeah.
To the 2000s, early 2000s.
Okay.
Now he was obviously lived in New Zealand at the time. I'd done a mix for Knowledge magazine, the red CD. For some reason, that just blew up, and everybody, like, big shout to Colin from Knowledge, putting my mix on the front cover. That got me mad work. And one of the people that picked up on it was Moses, who lived in New Zealand, lived in Christchurch. So I went over there, and he sorted out a tour whereby I would be in New Zealand for 2 weeks. Oh, was it a week? New Zealand for a week and Australia for a week. You know what I mean? That's how I met him. And that went on for 12 years. Every year, once a year, for 12 years, I'd go to New Zealand and I would tour. And Moses would be DJing and coming around with me. We had a great time.
Sick.
Then he moved to the UK, you know, which is like, if people really want to absorb drum and bass fully, that's what they do. They come to the UK. Well, that's another story. Pendulum, man.
Yeah.
That bust every door open because it was kind of like you didn't have to be from London to make a hit tune. This tune landed, blew the place. Like, what's it called? The Vault, the 31 Records.
Oh, mate, that was the Vault was amazing. But then I think which was the one that Groove Rider rewound like 8 times on air?
Oh, I don't know.
It was the fucking. Hang on a second, I'm gonna pull it up. Come on, Master Library, don't fail me now, bastard. It was the one with the fucking hip hop intro.
Oh, I don't know.
I can hear the fucking line in my head, and I can hear the break in my head. And then, hang on a second. Where is it?
I gotta send love to Groove Rider because he was on the Pendulum thing like real early.
Slam.
Oh yeah, Deep said Slam.
Deep Slam. Yeah. Slam.
Yeah. Deeps. Wow, Deeps is deep.
Deeps is deep.
I've got to send love to Groove Rider.
Yeah.
He was on the Pendulum thing way early, and I mean, before they really became like selling out stadiums and stuff like that. And you know, typically what happened was someone else came along. I won't name names, whatever. Someone else came along and it was like, hey, these were the people that discovered Pendulum. But Groove was on it. Groove was touring as a DJ for Pendulum.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, he was doing the warm-up set before they came on the stage and did it live.
Oh, before the live. Dude, you know what? I think that whole thing with Pendulum was fascinating because I think there are a couple of other names that we won't mention involved in that whole process that we're talking about. But again, blowing open drum and bass to more mainstream shit was quite, you know, that to me was an eye-opener, was their remix of The Prodigy, which then kind of put a fire under The Prodigy's ass to come back harder, which I thought was fucking brilliant. I was just like... Oh,
yeah, I felt that. I definitely felt... It's funny you said that. I really felt that.
Totally.
Yeah.
When they came on with Voodoo People, it was like, shit, this feels like Pendulum song. And like Liam just got vexed and rewrote a whole of the fucking album.
Kareem says Groove loves punk. How did you know that? I didn't even know that about Groove. I didn't know Groove. Oh, yeah. How did he know that? Groove is like, see, the people that are Groove's generation, they brought up on all different kinds of stuff.
See,
But I
Fabio's
need
the
to ask him
funk
about
man,
that.
but I didn't know that about Groove either.
Punk. I had no idea. I need to check.
Do you know what? Actually, that also reminds me, because around the time, I think it was just pre-Pendulum, Nightbreed, Pack of Wolves. I remember Joe Wiley
Yes.
playing that on daytime on Radio 1. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Because I'm a metalhead, like not a drum and bass metalhead, but like as a youth, I was into heavy metal and death metal and stuff.
Yeah.
And in fact, that's kind of what got me into drum and bass was, and I can remember this vividly. I used to go to like sort of Sepultura gigs and Slayer gigs and all of that kind of stuff in the Midlands. And then went to my first rave at the Q Club in Birmingham when like
Yeah, you're legendary.
yeah, and it was all sort of big fucking techno and psychedelic stuff in the main room, like Ultimate Orange or Atomic Dog or Atomic Jam or whatever the fuck it was. And then D&B or Jungle was a side room, like a tiny fucking room, and Dot Scott would be playing or something. But it was like maybe a 50 capacity room. And then over time it grew bigger and bigger and bigger. Do you know what I mean? So it was like those days. And fuck, what was the point of my story?
Shit.
Fuck.
Shit.
There was a point to it. Fuck. Shit.
Come on.
Come on. What were we talking about just before?
I've lost that.
For fuck's sake. This is what happens in part 2 of these things, man. Shit. But yeah, anyway. So.
You got the same glass as me?
IKEA.
Oh, wow. Same. Yeah, okay, cool.
Big up, bruv. Cheers. Fuck. I had a chain of thought and a really riveting tale to tell. Oh, well. Fuck it. Whatever.
Damn.
It was good days. It was good days. But, shit. There was an actual point there. Yeah, vodka versus whiskey. It's true. It's true.
Vodka doesn't give me a headache. It's clean.
See, I think that it depends on the quality of the alcohol you're drinking. I think that whatever it is, if it's good quality, there you go. Oh, that's it. Thank you. Thank you, Paul Syndicate. Started from me being a metalhead. That's right. Thank you so much, everybody. Listen.
Okay.
Fucking hell. Thank God for that. So, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks, MCJDTV. Thank you very much. I was a metalhead. I went to my first rave, and I was like, the music is the same energy, but there's more attractive people and better things to take. So yeah, it was just better things to take rather than like, you know, a sweaty, spotty, hairy actual metal gig. I was like, this is awesome. And that was around about like 95, 96-ish when that took over for me in Birmingham. But yeah, that was the whole vibe for me. Got me right into it.
Birmingham was a serious hotspot. And I think maybe Manchester before that, but I don't know. They're on equal levels, to be honest. But yeah, for drum and bass, Marcus Intellects.
I mean, Goldie being from Wolverhampton blew my fucking mind because, like, I think it was right. So '96 when Metalheads, when it was the Timeless Live tour, and he played in Wolverhampton. It was just we went to that gig, and I was like, that was the first time I went to the Wolverhampton Civic Hall to not see a metal act, but to see Metalheads. Do you know what I mean? And that was 1996. I think I've still got the tour T-shirt, and it was like fully live. Do you know what I mean? It was like the whole live show for Timeless. And it blew my fucking mind.
Was it partly the names of the two things that sort of made you go, "What is this?" You thought maybe...
it was no. It was. In fact, you know what it was? It was the fact that a lot of industrial metal acts were having, like, there's an act called Fear Factory, which kind of predates the poppier stuff like Korn, and they were doing biomechanical remixes, and these remixes were like produced metal tracks that were running at like 170 BPM basically. So I was on the speed thing anyway. And then, you know, there was, I think, I just really enjoyed clubbing. I think it was like, you know, in Birmingham, and I've mentioned this before in other interviews, in Birmingham, as looking the way I do, there's a lot of assumptions about my sexuality and all that other kind of shit. And also being broke in Birmingham isn't fun. And also then being picked on and having racism and all that other kind of shit isn't fun. So my solace was basically clubland. Do you know what I mean? So I'd go to like gay house nights and all these other raves and all that kind of stuff. So I think it was just an escape. You know what I mean? So no, the name Metalheads was not the confusing point. I'm not that fucking stupid.
Just checking.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a vibe, man. It was really, I remember those days fondly. It was like self-discovery. And like, you know, like people like you were like legend to come from Birmingham to London and sort of do that. I still find it shocking that like years later I get to sort of do a show with Fabi. I'm like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? On radio and like hang with you guys. It's still something that's like, that's nuts that, you know, I'm mates with people that I used to really revere.
Well, I'm like that. I was collecting tapes. You see my tapes still here.
Yeah.
All these tapes, cassette tapes, and I've got a tape deck as well. I was collecting tapes, Jumping Jack Frost and Fabian, blah blah blah. These people are my friends now.
Yeah.
I've called them anytime, and it's really strange, but nice.
Yeah, man. It's a fucking privilege, man. Yeah. Look, bruv, I think that I'm going to go for another wee. And I'm kind of wasted now, too.
Yeah,
So,
my legs has been a bit like pins and needles, but because of the alcohol.
Exactly. Not because of lack of motion. But yeah, bruv, look, I'm going to send you details about Saturday's gig.
Yes, tell me about that again. Like, who doesn't know about that? Tell me again, man.
Right. So Saturday at Village Underground in Shoreditch, it's me, the amazing Reju, and Anita Rani, the fucking national treasure DJ. And she's a junglist, believe it or not. So yeah, it's going to be quite fun. And it's a sit-down.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a sit-down COVID-free situation, so everyone's socially distant and all that. Big up Pavan in the house, wicked.
You got to bring her to my table because I need a photograph with her. I need a picture with knitting. I need pictures.
Oh yeah, but I mean, you've got to be distant. So in fact, don't bring your telescope. Bring like a telescopic lens.
I ain't got that kind of money.
I thought you were totally going to make a dick joke then, but never mind. Alas, I set you up beautifully and we missed.
Yeah, no, let's not do dick jokes.
Okay,
all right?
fair enough. See, this is why you were such a fucking good radio host, man. This is why you had it all in check, no swearing, all that.
10 years, you institutionalize like your language, like you get used to just like, don't go there.
That's amazing. Yeah, Pavan's just on here. You know that freestyle I told you about, the foreign beggars?
Yeah,
that's Pav who's on the chat now. That's quite
funny. Oh, big up, Pav.
Yeah, man. All right, Deeps, I'm going to send you the details too. Bruv, thank you so much for this. It's been a pleasure, and I'm kind of lathered. I'm going to go eat some food. I'm going to
piss too, and I need to eat, right?
Yeah.
Something dirty and greasy.
Yeah, man. I was going to make a mom joke there, but I'm not going to. All right, bro.
You dirty bastard. And bye, Tilly. Say bye, Tilly.
Bye, Tilly.
She's washing.
Hello, bye.
Tilly. Whatever. Anyway, yeah.
All right, safe, bro. Thanks a lot for doing this. Speak to you in a bit.
Take care, man.
Bye. Big love.
Bye.